Yeah. Good morning, participants, and good morning, Mr. Prashant Sahu sir from the TCS. Good morning to one and all. I welcome you to the last day of our FDP, Application of Emerging Technologies in Business. Now, the resource person is ready to deliver his lecture. Please, one instruction from our side. Please turn off your video during the session. It goes awkward when other participants will see you like you are roaming somewhere in the campus or somewhere in the your areas. So it will be little bit awkward. So that's why I am announcing that. Please turn off your video during the sessions. Thank you. So Prashant Sahu sir.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Yeah. So now I request you to start the session, sir.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, good morning, ma'am. Good morning to all the participants. So today, I hope it is the last day of the FDP program related to applications of emerging technologies. I hope many of you have learned a lot of things from these, like whatever FDP which has been conducted related to various technologies. If I could see the schedule like big data and many of the technologies, I hope you would have gone with blockchain technology. Okay, I hope at least you would have got some insights related to all the latest technologies, like how it is working, what it is all about. Okay, so even coming to my part, so even to the blockchain technology. So from the last two sessions, I hope most of you would have got to know various new things when compared to before coming into the FTP, right? Like important properties of the blockchain, how it came up, what is its significance, what is its importance. We all discussed, right? And then on top of that, yesterday we already again had a discussion related to future of cryptocurrency. What is a cryptocurrency? How we need to have a wallet to transfer amount to any of your colleague or your friend. What is a peer-to-peer mechanism? What is mining concept? All of these things we have extensively covered from the last 2 days. Now today, I am going to discuss about the third one, that is Ethereum. Ethereum is actually very, very important in terms of application of the blockchain technology, guys. I'm going to explain you today without wasting much of your time and my time. So I'm going to enter into it and I'm going to show you what is Ethereum. Then you should be in a position to understand like what exactly is Bitcoin and what is Ethereum. Bitcoin was covered yesterday to y'all and today I'm going to cover Ethereum. So it is your responsibility to go ahead and identify that when I need to use Bitcoin and when do I need to use the Ethereum concept. So these two are very, very important applications of the blockchain technology. Bitcoin being the first one and then came the Ethereum in the year 2015. If somebody asks you, is there only two applications in the market? Then you should say not two, but around 8,000 people. 8,000, I would say 8,000 cryptocurrencies are present actually. If you remember, yesterday I have shown you from coinmarketcap.com, I have shown you almost like 7,900 change of cryptocurrencies are present. So it is not one or two, but only one or two are very much famous, which people are aware or which people are knowing about it. But there are enormous amount of applications which are present. Maybe today Ethereum is in demand. Down the line, after 1 or 2 years, maybe another coin would become very much popular. We never know about time. We never know about the people, about what they're going to use at what point of time. So as today Ethereum is in much demand, so let us go ahead and try to explore the Ethereum concept, guys. So let me just share my screen before that so that you would get a clear picture of what I'm trying to say in terms of presentation. So just acknowledge that once if you could see my screen so that I can proceed forward.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, ma'am. So today, as I said, we are going to discuss about Ethereum. I hope many of you may be not knowing what is a smart contract actually, but you don't need to worry about it. So I'm going to explain you what exactly is this smart contract. And Ethereum, as I said, it is one of the application of the blockchain technology. So it is like how we have a Bitcoin in the same way, we also have Ethereum present. Now you know that, right? If you remember, who is the founder of the Bitcoin? Yesterday when I was saying, who is the founder of Bitcoin? It was Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay, I said that this guy is the founder of this. Now we never know who was Satoshi. I also said you this point. Till today, nobody has identified who is this Satoshi Nakamoto. Whether he is an individual or whether it is an organization. No one knows about it, guys. Okay, but in the case of Ethereum, it is not like that. We know who is the founder of it, and here is the person whom we call him as Vitalik Buterin. Okay, so his name is actually Vitalik Buterin. So this person is actually the founder of the Ethereum. It is not like Bitcoin where we never know who is the person who has written that white paper yesterday, which I have shown to you, who has come up with this idea called as a peer-to-peer. But here in the case of Ethereum, it is very clearly visible that if you could see the picture here, this person is the founder of the Ethereum, whom we call as Vitalik Buterin. Okay, so now at the age of 19 years, okay, at the age of 19 years, he has discovered this Ethereum project, and right now he is 25. Okay, so then he came up with this Ethereum concept by revolutionizing the entire blockchain concept actually. Okay, so now if you could see towards the right hand side, so this is what we generally call it as the Bitcoin, and here if you could see, in this case, this is our Ethereum. Okay, now both of them are actually trying to shake their hands. Now when do we shake our hands with other person? When there is some common things between you and me, then we would shake our hands by mutual understanding, saying that yes, these are the common features between you and me. But here in the case of Bitcoin and Ethereum, what are those common similarities which they are having in order to shake their hands? So if I would say, both of them, they use one common technology, and that's where we call it as the blockchain technology, guys. Okay, your Bitcoin and Ethereum, they use the blockchain technology to the maximum extent. Okay, now inside the blockchain, we have consensus mechanism, we have distributed ledger. Okay, we have, again, there are lots of features again inside the blockchain only. Okay, when I say Ethereum and Bitcoin are using blockchain, what it indicates is, okay, what actually it tries to indicate, it indicates that so like it uses distributed, it uses consensus, it uses mining, and then it uses lots of features, whatever is present, like hashing. So these are all common between Ethereum and Bitcoin. And both of them are what we call both of them as cryptocurrencies. Even Ethereum is also a cryptocurrency. Okay. Now these are the common things between them. One is technology and other one is cryptocurrencies. Now I may change my question saying that what is the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin? So then you should say me, Bitcoin deals with only transactions. It doesn't deal with anything. I hope I've also explained this previously in one of my session when I was taking. So Bitcoin deals with only transactions. Whereas your Ethereum, it deals with your transactions plus documents. That means you can store any document inside your Ethereum. You can store any type of data inside the Ethereum. But coming to Bitcoin, you can store data here also, but only transaction types of data are considered here, guys. You just can't fit whatever you like. You just need to fit only transactions being available here. Okay, but in the case of Ethereum, it is only transactions plus documents. Okay, so this is the very, very important point which you actually need to understand when you just try to compare the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin. Okay, so I hope everybody is clear with this concept, like what is Ethereum and what is Bitcoin, and what are the common points and what are the differences between them. Okay, so now let me just go one step further. So if you could see this picture, if somebody shows you this picture and he tries to ask you this thing, please narrate me. Okay, please narrate me in terms of blockchain by seeing this picture. Then what will you narrate? First thing is by seeing this picture here, right? So you can say this is nothing but it is distributed. Okay, so this is nothing but it is distributed and decentralized. Okay, so this is what we generally call it as distributed and decentralized, guys. Okay, and on top of that, if you could see here, the second part, that is the blocks part here. What did I say? What is the speciality of Ethereum, guys? The speciality of Ethereum is you can take care of your transactions, that is common, plus documents. Okay, so if you could see here, there are documents also present here. Whereas in the case of Bitcoin, we have never talked about any such documents. But whereas in the case of Ethereum, we are talking about those documents. That is the reason why Ethereum is famous. Otherwise, nobody would have cared about Ethereum. The reason for being Ethereum famous is because it encourages you to add some data or store some documents inside the blockchain. That is the reason why it is very much famous, where you can do some amount of coding, where you can do some amount of programming and then try to create some documents inside the blockchain. That is the reason it is very much famous, guys. And this is a unique feature which Ethereum itself is having. And no other cryptocurrency is actually having this special type of feature where you can add your documents inside your blockchain. Okay, so this is what you need to understand in terms of Ethereum, which is a unique speciality which Vitalik Buterin, who is the founder of Ethereum, is trying to give us a new concept, saying that we can store whatever content or whatever data we wanted. So this is very important point which you need to understand, especially in terms of Ethereum, guys. Okay, and if you could see the second part, it is all about distributed and decentralized. As we already know, in the first session of mine, I have explained to you about the land and revenue department, that how everything would be in the form of distributed and decentralized mechanism. Okay, so now smart contract. Okay, what is this? Now remember one thing, guys. We are all learning technically now. So we are not a persons like who don't know blockchain now. We know at least something, right? Maybe I will not say you know at the expert level, but yes, you know something right now. When you attended my 2 sessions, yes, at least you got to learn certain things, that these are what is required related to blockchain. That means technically, at least you know something before then, before coming into this particular FDP. So now what I'm trying to say is, as we are learning technically, so we should not use some common language which other persons will use it, who don't know about this technology, guys. So what is that language? Transaction plus document. Transaction is fine. Now document which is present, right? This is what I said you from previously, because you never know about Ethereum at that time. If I say at that time smart contract, right, you will get confused, saying that what is this smart contract? I'm not understanding. But document is something which is already common to everyone. So I always introduced you this word. But now I'm saying that it is not a document we call, it is what we call as smart contract. We will have in Ethereum transactions plus smart contract, guys. It is not document. For your understanding, you can put it as document. But technically, when you go and try to speak somewhere, you should not say document. You should say it as smart contract. When I ask you what is hash, generally when I ask you what is a hash, you should not say it is a fingerprint. That is totally irrelevant answer. So what, for your understanding, I said it is like a fingerprint. That means when somebody asks you what is a hash, you should say it is a unique identification for the block. Then you can explain him, like how we have a fingerprint as a unique identification. In the same way, hash is also a unique identification for every block. In the same way, now again I'm trying to say you, just put document, whatever document is there, just for your understanding, you just assume it as document. But whenever you go out and try to utter, right, about this Ethereum, then you should say Ethereum consists of transactions. Along with the transactions, we also consist of the smart contract. So this is the point which you need to say, or which you need to understand here. So it has transactions. Along with the transactions, we have smart contract. So now you know that Ethereum consists of smart contract. Anyhow, transaction is a common thing. You can ignore it at least for the time being. Now let us discuss what is a smart contract. Okay, smart contract is nothing but it is not a Greek language, or it is not a rocket science, guys. It is very simple. Smart contract is nothing but rules and regulations. Just rules and regulations are present here. Now I'll say you what is that. Generally, what is a contract, guys? A contract is nothing but where we write certain rules between two parties, right? Where we write certain rules between two parties, and these two parties mutually agree by signing on that contract, saying that this is the rules which we are going to follow. That is a general purpose of a normal contract. Okay, now the benefit of smart contract is even smart contract also acts in the same way only. It is not again a different thing. Even in the smart contract, we'll have certain rules and regulations. But this is all in an automated way. Generally, what is a contract? You take paper, okay, you do it, and then you go and legally stamp that 100 rupee paper or whatever it may be. So we are not going to do all those stuff here. Everything is virtual here. Everything is virtual, and we are going to write down the rules and regulations inside a smart contract based on the situation and scenario. Okay, now generally in what language we write rules and regulations in a contract, guys? Either it may be English or either it may be Hindi. Okay, so whatever it is, like whatever is the communication, like where we can communicate that language, where the other two parties, they know that common language. With that language we try to put it up. But here you just can't write the smart contract with a normal English language. Normal English language, whatever we write in the contracts, right, it is not applicable here in the smart contract. For here, whenever you want to write rules and regulations, we require some programming language here, and that's what we call it as the solidity. So your rules and regulations are written using the programming language, which we call it as solidity here, guys. So solidity is the main programming language which you need to use in order to write the rules and regulations. That is the core functionality of the smart contract. So you just don't think that, okay, rules and regulations in a normal contract also we write in English language. So even here also it would be the same. No. Here in the smart contract, the rules and regulations are written in the solidity programming language. Now, what is this solidity programming language? See, again, I hope most of the people are management people. Okay, but just in giving you a glimpse of it, you don't need to be technically at least writing the programs and code. You don't require it. But yes, if the people are still interested in writing solidity programs or trying to explore it out, then you can reach out to me. At the end, I'm going to provide my mail ID, so you can reach out to me that how you want to learn solidity. I can explain you. Okay, but for the time being, to all the people, I would suggest that solidity is the only programming language which we can use to write the smart contract. And then the smart contract will be kept inside your Ethereum blockchain, guys. This is the flow, or this is the logic, if I would say. Solidity is similar to your C++. Okay, your C++ and then your Node.js, just for your information I'm saying, okay. This is not, it's a new language. I understand it's a new language, but you will not feel that you're writing a new programming language. It is all extracted from your C++ and then the Node.js. That is Node JavaScript. But anyhow, that is not so important for you all at least. But yes, if you're interested, you can do let me know later. Okay, now let us see what is a smart contract, guys. Always, smart contract consists of some important rules which we need to address, guys. Now, what are those standard rules? Understand here, I'm coming from bottom, okay? Not from the top, coming from bottom. If you see the numbers, okay? So first thing is, you always need to understand what is the business problem. What is the problem which we are having and how we can overcome it with the help of a smart contract. You just can't go everywhere and try to fit the smart contract and say that this is the only solution which we have. Somewhere it is a good fit, somewhere it is not. So you need to identify the business problem first in order to make sure that you can fit your contract inside it. Smart contract, okay? First, you need to understand the business problem. Second one would be you have to define the network and then its participants, like inside the network, who all are present, and then who are the parties who are being involved, and then what is the prerequisite, when the event should trigger, and what is the business logic. Now, these are the key points which are to be considered whenever we design a smart contract. Now, I know many of you may be a little bit confused right now, like what are these points? Can you explain me in the real life how we can actually try to use these points? So it is my responsibility to make you understand with the help of an example. So let us go and try to see the example first, and then again we'll come back to these points and correlate it, that how we can actually try to use in the real life. Okay, so now let us go with a small banking application. Okay, so now what happens in the banking system, I'll say you. Today, we have here SBI Bank, and in this case, we have our Sid present here. So here SBI is granting a loan to Sid. Okay, now Sid takes the loan from SBI. So there should be a mutual understanding between Sid and SBI that SBI is paying the loan and Sid needs to repay the loan in the form of a EMI based on certain years, like how much amount of loan he is taking. Based on that, he's going to pay the EMI to the respective bank. Okay, so this is something which we are thinking of at least right now. So now what is going to happen here is whenever the contract, I mean to say whenever the contract is being signed, that is again lots of paperwork is required here. Now for approving the loan itself, sometimes it takes 1 month, 2 months and 3 months. It is again a very tedious process, very complicated process. You always need to move through the banks asking them whether it has been approved or not. Then they will say they need some more additional documents. So all these sort of problems we can ignore and we can make sure that the loan process can be done very fastly, guys. So now how we can do this? Let us design a smart contract and observe that what are the changes which we can bring into the banking system, guys. Okay, let me just explain you here. So what is the business problem first? I always say you, this is the first thing which you need to understand, which you need to identify, and then you need to give the solution. If there is no business problem, then why are you creating a problem by introducing a smart contract? As there is a problem, I want to get rid of that problem by designing the smart contract. Now let us see what it is. The business problem here is I want to ensure the timely repayment for the loan. Okay, I need to ensure that there is always a timely repayment for the loan. That is the problem. So what the bank is trying to say is I want to design a smart contract in such a way whenever the month or the whenever a particular 1 month is completed, right, then I should not notify Sid. That is, I mean to say, like, I have other works as a bank. I am doing my banking operations. I can't just go and notify each and every person that you have to pay this much amount of money for this month. So that is again a complicated process which I don't want to have in my banking operation. I want to do some automation. I want to do some sort of advancement in the technology so that it can take care of it automatically. That's where your smart contract will actually fit in a right way. So that's your business problem. You need to ensure that there is a timely repayment for the loan. Now, who are the involved parties here, guys? One is your SID, other one is your SBI. SBI is granting you the loan and SID is the person who is taking the loan. So, involved parties are SID and SBI. Now, in the network, see, in the network, there may be many people. See, not only SBI, guys, you may have your Bank of Baroda, you may have your Citibank, you may have your HDFC Bank. All these banks may be in the network. Okay, so in the network, there may be many people. In the same way, along with SID, there may be many people present. But involved parties will be only those parties who are actually doing some process with the other bank. Let me say if there is another person whom we call it as Y. Now, this person, if is involved with the HDFC Bank, then who are the involved parties here? Y and the HDFC Bank. So you need to understand this. In the network, there may be many people. Don't get confused here. In the network, there are many people. But involved parties are those parties who are being actually involved in a particular process. Okay. Now, what is the prerequisite? Understand one thing, guys. Okay. So now, how do you know that a calendar month is completed? You know because you were taught in that way, right? In the schoolings, or maybe whenever you had your small, like primary schooling, or maybe whenever you were in school, right? People, then your parents or maybe your teachers had made you understood that what is a calendar month, when the month changes, what is time, you got to know, right? Because somewhere or the other, even we learned it. Even the same way, smart contract also doesn't know anything. Everything you have to explain it to smart contract, then only the smart contract will behave in a right way. If you define something else and if you make your smart contract to do another thing, then it will not work as per your expectation, guys. So it is your responsibility to make your smart contract understand. If you make it understand very clearly, right, it can work for you in a better way. If you yourself is not in a appropriate clarity, or if you're not having it, then you can't make your smart contract function appropriately. So now you say that what is your business problem? Whenever the time happens, then automatically the loan amount should be credited to SBI. Now, how will smart contract understand what is time? And when is the month considered? So you need to submit certain prerequisites here, guys. Like if I would say here, the network need access to the calendar and time. So you need to provide a prerequisite as calendar and time to your smart contract. Then only your smart contract will understand that, okay, that means after 30 days or 31 days, the month has been completed. Immediately when a new month starts, then trigger will happen here. See, when the trigger is going to happen, whenever there is a change in the calendar month. And how come smart contract is going to know that there is a change in calendar month? Because at the top, if you could see the prerequisite, right? I kept calendar as one of the prerequisite. Now, what is the logic here? Logic is until and unless your outstanding loan is greater than zero. That means until and unless you are paying the loan, what happens? The smart contract will immediately take the money from your account and the EMI will be credited to the bank. Until and unless your outstanding loan is greater than zero. The moment it becomes equal to zero, then your smart contract will not function because you have cleared all your dues and all your loan. So there wouldn't be any problem. In this case, what happens is the persons who don't want to pay, the persons who want to play with the bank, they can't do this. The reason of this is because the smart contract is going to immediately trigger, and whenever the salary amount gets credited to you, right, immediately certain amount will be taken from there. So if we give you a chance, right, if the bank gives you a chance, then you will be hesitant to pay. But automatically, if the trigger is going to happen, then the money will be credited to them directly without any hesitation. And your smart contract takes care of everything. Now, tomorrow, if you file a case against the bank saying that the smart contract, there is some flaws in smart contract, then bank can simply say you that this smart contract is present inside the Ethereum blockchain. And you know what is one of the important property of the blockchain, guys? It is immutable. Either the owner or the other party who is present, nobody can change any data. Whenever the smart contract will be created, right, it will be shown to the other party who has taken the loan, that is in our case Sid. So Sid also approves it, saying that yes, everything is fine for me. Otherwise, if you don't approve, then please go and search another bank. We are not going to provide you a loan until and unless if you don't follow this. So he is going to give you the approval. That's it. So from then on, everything will be channelized and it will be transparent enough, and we can get rid of this NPAs, that is non-performing assets, can be reduced to the maximum extent. And whatever I explained you right now, right, it is being implemented by BNB Paribas Bank, which is headquartered in the France. Okay, in the France it is headquartered. BNB Paribas Bank. Whatever example I said, they are using it in the loan management process. The smart contract is implemented in the loan management process, guys. So now I hope you'll understand the rules. See here. First is understanding the business problem. See the first point, okay? And then if you could see, you have to define the network and its participants. I kept that as a third point here, network participants, who are all present in the network, okay? And then assess the parties who are being involved. So in the here, if you could see, involved parties are SID and SBA, that is second point. And then what is a prerequisite? You have to identify the prerequisite and inform it here. And then when is the trigger going to happen? The trigger is going to happen whenever there is a change in the calendar month. And then what is the business logic? Here the business logic is outstanding loan. If it is greater than zero, then you need to go ahead and try to pay that much amount of loan. I mean to say the money will automatically be credited to the bank's account until and unless your outstanding loan is greater than zero. Once it becomes equal to zero, then your smart contract will not function anymore. This is how you can write a smart contract at the banking level application, where you can implement it in the loan management process. Okay, so now let me go ahead. I don't want to waste much time here because it is very simple. If I would say, as I said, Solidity is what? It is the programming language where we are going to use this programming language. Now, whatever rules I explained you here, right? Whatever rules I explained you, this is all written in this Solidity. Those all points are related in this Solidity programming language, okay, which is extracted from the C++ and the Node.js. That's it. And your Bitcoin is written in the Bitcoin script language. Whatever Bitcoin software, if you remember, I said, right, from here you will be getting what? Reward as per the halving mechanism. Yesterday I explained it very clearly. I hope everybody have understood at that time. So Bitcoin software is written in the Bitcoin scripting language. Anyhow, But do we have access to this Bitcoin software, guys? No, nobody has access to this because it is very confidential. And no, the Satoshi, who is the founder of this, right, he don't want to make sure that anybody would come and try to attack this. So that's the reason it is very confidential, and Satoshi has used Bitcoin script language in the Bitcoin software. Okay, so that everything would be channelized in an appropriate way. So in the case of Ethereum, it is Solidity. Okay, Solidity founder is not Vitalik Buterin. Okay, Solidity programming language founder is Gavin Wood. But all of them belong to Ethereum community only. Again, all of them, they belong to Ethereum community only, but the Solidity founder is not Vitalik Buterin. The programming language Solidity's founder is Gavin Wood, but whereas if you could see entire Ethereum, right, the founder is Vitalik Buterin. Okay, so that's what I intend to say here. And generally, wherever you see blockchain related stuff, or in real life, whenever you see somebody designing the blockchain application, right, what it is called as, we call it as a D app. Now, what is a D app? D app means it is decentralized application. We call this as the decentralized application, guys. Now, what is this decentralized application? Generally, before I discuss about decentralized application, what is an application? See, you use Amazon, you use Flipkart, you use Myntra, right? All these things you use it. What is that? That is an application. All of them are the different types of applications indeed, if I would say. So now here, the point what you need to understand is, guys, whatever smart contracts which are actually, I mean to say present, right? Okay, or whatever application which is present, normal application, it consists of two things, guys. One is the back end and other one is the front end. Now, all of us see this front end. Now, you see Myntra, Amazon, any website, it is the front end which is visible to us in a very attractive way, in all sort of designs and everything. We see the front end. But the back end is something which is crucial. That means your database, okay, your database and your code, everything will lie here. Now, if we show this, nobody is interested in this. Why? We have, see, let me say the end user, the customers who wants to use it, why is he so much interested on DB and code? So it is the company's responsibility which takes care of, not the customers who are going to use your website. For them, it is the front end. Front end means what? Your design and everything. Again, technically, if I say you use certain frameworks like React, Angular, and then you try to design your front end. So now what you need to understand here is every application has two things. One is your backend, another one is your front end. Backend is something which is not visible to anyone, and technical people deal this backend a lot. That is your database and your coding and everything. In the case of front end, it is all about your design. If you are a very good and innovative designer, your website will be very soothing to the people whenever they try to use it. So it all depends. Now here in the front end, there is no technology. Nobody is bothered what technology you are using. Whether it may be AI, big data, IoT, whatever it is, nobody is concerned because your front end never consists of any such technologies. Your front end is all about the look which you can bring. But whereas your back end differs. Your back end is very important, like what type of technology you are using here, because the code depends on that technology. Now, let me say, if I am using Ethereum blockchain, then immediately one thing which will come into your mind is at the back end, what will be there? Your smart contract. Your smart contract is written in which language? Solidity programming language. That's it. It's as simple as that. Now, if somebody asks you, hey, can you say me what is the backend for blockchain or backend for Ethereum blockchain? Then you should say that it is smart contract, which is written in the Solidity programming language. And what is a front end? Front end is whatever you design it. There is no specification or there is no limitations in terms of blockchain in front end. Front end can be designed at your own style, in your own way. You can do whatever you wish. But what you need to understand is at the end, you need to connect your front end and back end. If there is no connection, let me say if your front end is different and your back end is different, then how can you talk between both of them? How you can interact? How you can communicate? So there should be a connection between your front end and back end. Okay, so that there would be an appropriate connection and people can actually try to talk between back end and front end. This is in combo. Okay, the combo is called as DApp, decentralized application. What is the combo here? That is your front end and then your back end. So this two in combination, we call it as the DApp, decentralized application. Okay, generally we call this as application only, not a D app. Application means it consists of both front end and as well as back end, guys. Okay, generally this is the application. But what I'm trying to say here is D app means it is blockchain. Why? Because you know that blockchain is nothing but decentralized. So whenever you hear about D app, that means generally the backend will be smart contract and solidity only, because it is decentralized application. What normal application means, it may be both front end and back end. If it is decentralized application, even there also will have front end and back end. But as it is a decentralized application, you should understand that it is blockchain technology. Okay, so this is something which you need to understand, guys. Okay, so this is your front end and back end. Now let me show you the real life example. See here, have you heard of YouTube, guys? Okay, so here in this case, have you heard of YouTube? I hope many of you would have actually heard of YouTube actually. But if you could see here, this is what we call it as the D-tube. Okay, this is generally what we call it as the D-tube. That is a decentralized tube. This is a what is this? This is the application of your D app. It is a decentralized application, guys, which we call it as the D app actually. Okay, so in this D app, this is giving a very tough competition to your YouTube, because here you will not be finding any advertisements. In the YouTube, what is the problem? You see a lot of advertisements coming in the picture, but here there will be no advertisements. The reason is the blockchain doesn't support any third parties or any intermediaries being present here. That is one of the biggest advantage of using DTube, and it is giving a very tough competition to YouTube, guys. And it works on Ethereum blockchain, and we call this DTube as a D app, decentralized application, guys. Okay, and we also have one more thing which we call it as Steemit. Steemit is giving a very tough competition to Twitter, where you can tweet or lots of things related to, let me say, you can tweet here, you can write the blogs, and whatever you wish you can do. There are lots of communities being present. So this is generally what we call it as Steemit. Steemit is also D app, guys. It is a decentralized application. Like YouTube, like how we have a DTube, right? Here in the same way, we also have a Steemit. These are actually the real life examples which are actually in the market using Ethereum blockchain. That is, one is your DTube, another one is your Steemit, guys. Okay, so this is all about your decentralized applications. So now if you could see here, your Web 1.0, if you could see your Web 1.0 when it used to be in the early 2000s. Okay, in the early 2000s, your websites used to be like this, guys. See, this is your Apple website and this is your Amazon website, guys. In the early 2000s, your websites used to be like this. Now, Apple is little bit better, that's fine. But if you could see here, see how pathetic this is. Would anybody buy here from Amazon anything, guys? See how it is being designed generally. Would anybody suggest or would anybody try to go ahead and try to buy anything related to Amazon, guys? No. But if you see now in the Web 2.0, see, this is the web second generation of the web. See how the things have drastically changed. That means what I'm trying to say here, from 1.0 to 2.0, everything is gradually increasing, guys. So you need to go in a rapid way so that everything is been designed in an appropriate way. So if you could see here, okay, so this is your 1.0, how the things used to be. And when if you could see the 2.0, right, see in this case, how drastically it has been changed. Now we are entering into Web 3.0, guys, where the websites will be all dynamic. It will be 3D modeling. You can easily, it will be like you're really seeing the product. That's how the websites are now going to be designed, which we call it as the Web 3rd generation or Web 3.0. So this is how it's going to come. Now in the Web 1.2 and 2.2, we always used to use centralization. Only one server and everybody used to access it. This model is what we call it as the centralization model. But in your Web 3.0, everything is going to change. That is, in terms of backend, it will become decentralized. Okay, so in terms of backend, it is what we call decentralization. And now if you could see in terms of front end here, right? So this is a question mark here. Now what is this? That means front end can be designed in your own style. Okay, it is your style, whatever you want to design it. And whereas it is Web 3.0, right? Everything will be dynamic here. So you will see like a 3D modeling. the pictures will be rotating and you will sense it. Okay, so this is very, very important in terms of front end and back end. So front end, if you could see here, it is a question mark which indicates that, okay, when I say that this is a question mark here, right, that means you can design it in your own style without any hesitation. Okay, and again, if you could see in terms of backend here, everything is decentralized. Okay, so I hope everybody is actually trying to understand like whatever I have explained till now. Okay, so let me just explain you some of the applications related to blockchain technology so that still you will get a clear idea. Now today, whatever, see, till now in my 3 sessions, I explained you 2 live examples. One is the Land and Revenue Department, which is implemented by the government of Telangana, right? And the second one is banking system, which is used by BNB Paribas Bank, which is headquartered in the France. Today, whatever I explained it. Now I'm going to explain you about the aviation sector. Now, I hope you know what is aviation sector, right? It all deals with your flights and everything. So that is what we call it as the aviation sector. Now, as you know the points, again, I'm not going to discuss in detail what are these points. Because you know, whenever you want to design the smart contract, there are certain rules which we need to follow. Okay, the very first thing is you need to understand what is the business problem. So the business problem here is to make sure that you have to reduce the customer dissatisfaction. Okay, so due to very lengthy process and the paperwork for claiming the flight delay insurance. Okay, so this is what is happening here. So what I intend to say in the business problem is, see, let me say if there is any delay in the flight. Okay, so what happens then? Let me say if the flight if the particular airline is want to give you refund for that money, then what you need to do? You need to fill that paperwork. You need to stand in line, and then they will process your paperwork, and then they are going to credit your money not within that stipulated time, but after 24 to 48 hours, or sometimes after 1 month you will get your money. So this is a very tedious process, guys. It is very complicated, standing in line, filling the papers, waiting for your turn. After completing your turn also, they will credit your money after 1 week or maybe after 1 month. Is it really the process which, see, everything is digitalized. Is it still the right way? You're still going with the manual process, crediting the money after verifying the documents. That is not going to give a customer satisfaction. Customer is never going to be satisfied in that way if you are going to do. First of all, the flight has been delayed. That is not a good sign. On top of that, you are making us to stay in line. On top of that, you're saying us to do the paperwork. And then again, on top of that, you're saying that your money will not be credited on time. That it will be after 7 days or maybe after 1 month, your money will be credited to your account. Do you ever think that the customer will be satisfied if there are so many loopholes in a particular organization or a particular system? No, there is no point. So then, airline will be thinking that how can I increase the customer satisfaction so that I can make the process very easier, so that my customers wouldn't feel if there is any delay in my flight. So what happens is, see here. So that is the problem which I explained you. In the network, there is insurance company and airlines, because insurance companies are going to settle your payment. If whenever your flight is delayed or anything happens, insurance companies are going to deal with that, and then the airlines. Airlines means it may be Indigo, SpiceJet, Air India, whatever it is, whatever airlines are present, those airlines will be present in the network. Okay. Now, who are the involved parties? Involved parties will be, one, as a passenger, it will be you and whatever airline which you have booked for your travel, and then the insurance company which is affiliated to your airline, so that they are going to settle the payment. So involved parties will be, one, you are the passenger, and then the airline which you have chosen, and the airline which they have as their insurance company. Now, what is the prerequisite here? Prerequisite is this smart contract should have access to the flight information from the airline database. What it is trying to say is, let me say you are traveling in Indigo, for example. Now, Indigo will have its database, right? Now, whenever the flight is delayed for certain hours, then Indigo is going to submit in the database that the flight has been delayed. So your smart contract will be attached to this database as a prerequisite. So whenever Indigo is going to submit it here, that the flight is delayed for certain hours to inform the customers, then based on that, what is going to happen? The event will trigger. So let me say if the flight delay is anything greater than 2 hours, then the smart contract will trigger, and then it is going to credit the money immediately to those persons. Like you will be in the airport only, but you see that your flight has been delayed for 2 hours. Now, as it is the technical glitch or any problem from Indigo, so immediately in the airport only you will be getting the money refunded. So now see the customer satisfaction. Now definitely it will be very high. Yes, there is a problem that the flight got delayed. That is again maybe due to some reason it would have happened. So we can't stop that with the technology. But what we can do is at least we can make our customer feel satisfied immediately when the flight is delayed for greater than 2 hours. Then after the next minute you will see that your money being credited into your account with the help of the smart contract, without any paperwork, without standing in line, without going to Indigo offices. So you can just stay there and you can complete the entire process. Smart contract will take care of everything. And how the smart contract will understand, because it is going to have access to that airline database. Whenever the airline is going to change the data, immediately there will be a trigger, and then automatically the money will be credited to your account by the insurance company. So that is what you need to understand. And this is the model which is going to be proposed going forward by Ministry of Aviation. Okay, by Ministry of Aviation, this is the model which they are trying to implement in the coming days so that no customers would be dissatisfied. Okay, so now if you could see here, this is what we call aviation blockchain, where everybody would be using it. Indigo, Jet Airways, Air India, anyhow it's not there, no? So all these things. Okay, so this is what we call it as the aviation blockchain, which deals with all your flights and everything, so that no customer would be left dissatisfied and everybody would get the right sort of treatment by getting all the money to their account whenever there is any sort of mistakes which are done by the particular airlines, guys. Okay, this is the aviation sector business case. So now let me go to the healthcare sector. Okay, what is the problem with the healthcare sector and how we are going to overcome it? So here, the business problem is the government wants to provide the critical medical care for unidentified victims. Let me say if there is any fire breakout in a particular locality. So immediately you will take the patients and then you make them admit in the nearby hospital. So you don't ask them at that point, right? Hey, give me your ID. Who are your parents? Please say me whether you have any family. Without any such sort of thinking, you take them and you first put them in the hospital so that they can go with the treatment process. Okay, that is fine. So now let me say among them, one of the person need to go for a big operation. Let me say maybe due to certain things, he has to go with a very big operation. Now the doctors need to know that whether he is having any sort of a medical insurance with him, or can he really pay that much amount of money? Yes, because they have to know about it, right? So, but no one knows who he is actually, because at that time they just brought them and they kept him in the hospital, and no one knows that where is he working, do he have any medical insurances. So these are some of the problems which government faces. And on top of that, let me say, when you're going on a road and you have seen some person who has been committed with an accident, now would you just ask him there, hey, say, give me your ID card or give me something? No, right? Immediately, as a responsible citizen, you take him up and admit him at the nearby hospital. So after that, until and unless he is not coming into conscious, we never know who he is and who are their family members. Now these are the problems where we don't know these victims, like who have been in the fire or who have been met with an accident. We never know who these people are. So generally what happens is, okay, what government is trying to do is, say there is a network where we'll have all the hospitals being present, like all types of hospitals, and then your Aadhaar department will be there, and any insurance companies. If the particular patient is having any insurance company affiliated or is paying any medical insurance, then that insurance company will also be there. So involved parties here are, one is the patient, and the other one is the where he got admitted in the hospital, and Aadhaar department and the insurance company. I'll say why the Aadhaar department is very important. Now, if you see here, the prerequisite here in this case is whenever the patient is admitted to hospital, okay, when the incident is reported from the hospital saying that they have admitted a person, or whether somebody puts it through an app saying that I have admitted this guy in a particular hospital. Okay, so whenever there is any such prerequisite coming, right, then immediately the smart contract will trigger, saying that patients from the road accidents or fire hazards are registered at the hospital. So then what is going to happen is, see, patient may be unconscious. Okay, then the Aadhaar department will immediately come, because smart contract will trigger them, saying that so and so person has been admitted in the hospital. So then immediately from the Aadhaar team, that is UIDAI body, that's Unique Identification Development Authority of India, from one person will come and they will take the thumb impression of that person who is unconscious. So that he will get the Aadhaar identity details of that person, and then they will try to map that, seeing that, like, who is this person actually, and then they will send from the government body, the notification or SMS will be sent to the relatives. And then they are also going to check whether this person is having any medical insurance or not. Based on that, immediately the money will be credited from the insurance company to the hospital. This is how AIMS, okay, your AIMS or ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, is coming up with a plan, so that all these unidentified victims will be identified with the Aadhaar department, because everything right now is affiliated to our Aadhaar cards. Everyone's identity is present with UIDAI. So they will come, they will take a thumbprint of this particular guy, and then they are going to map whether who is this person, who are their relatives, sending them the notification, if there is any medical insurance to this guy, so that that medical insurance would be immediately released, so that this person would be going into an operation, or if he's having any such sort of government schemes like Arogyashri or anything it may be. Okay, so these are all the important things which the government can able to detect it fastly, and then it can give approval for the hospitals to go ahead with any such sort of major surgery or major operations. This is how we can implement it in the healthcare sector, and AIMS and ICMR is actively progressing into this field to understand the importance of it and to make sure that it can be implemented in the near future, so that there wouldn't be any such problems in the coming future, guys. This is how we can implement it in the healthcare sector, so that we can identify the unidentified victims who are actually, like, if any natural disaster or if anything happens. So this is how we can streamline everything in an appropriate way in the healthcare sector. Okay, so next case would be the elections. Recently, the elections have been conducted in Russia. They have implemented the blockchain. You can go through the case study in the internet whenever you get time. So the elections have been conducted in Russia with the help of the blockchain technology. I'll say you the benefit of this, that you conducting the elections. Okay, so this elections, whatever is actually present here, right now, generally what happens, elections are not common throughout the India. It is not common, right? All throughout the India, now at every state, at every point of time, we have elections. Some people will be having now, some people will be having at the other time. Let me say, if you all are job holders, right? You stay at some place, some other place where you do your job, and then you have to come to your respective state to cast your vote, right? It is again only to just for that 5 minutes. Some people think that why do I need to come? So I don't want to come. Okay, so again I have to travel, I have to come cast my vote, and then again I go back to my place. So this is, some people, they hesitate it. I don't want to cast my vote. Let it be like that, is what many people try to do. The people who are responsible, yes, they come and they cast their vote. But I'm talking about the people who think that why would I do? It's fine. Anyhow, no party is good. Some people will have some sort of misconceptions, or maybe some sort of thing saying that I don't want to cast. So what exactly happened is, right now, many of the countries are implementing the elections with the help of the blockchain technology. Now, how it is going to happen is with the help of an application, a small app. With the help of an app at your own home, you are going to cast your vote with the help of an application, rather than going to any election booth, standing in line and then waiting. Recently, if you would have seen in the Hyderabad, okay, so the voting percentage was only 45%. The reason for this is, many people, they don't want to go to election booth and then they want to cast their vote. Okay, so now things needs to be, like, everything is digitalized, then things have to be digitalized, so that everybody would cast their vote. Then automatically the voting percentage will at least go to 75 to 80%. If they can cast their vote at their own home with the help of a small application, if I would say. Now, what is that? Let me make you clearly understand here. Whenever you have app, you don't need to come to your hometown. You don't need to come to your locality and then you need to cast your vote. Wherever you are, you know that when your state is going to I mean to say, whenever your respective state is going for a general elections, then you will make sure that your app is open and then you will cast your vote. Now, how this is going to happen? Listen to me carefully. First of all, this elections is conducted by the ECI, that is Election Commission of India. Okay, this is by Election Commission of India. It is going to be done. So, Election Commission of India is going to give you the voter ID. Now, how the ID is given? Based on the logic. If your age is greater than 18, then you will be given the eligibility to vote. Otherwise, no. So, everybody will have a unique voter ID. Generally, how we have our voter ID, right? In the same way, everyone will have a unique voter ID here. Okay. So, now if you see, this is your application, how it looks like. Okay. So, now what happens is, you need to put your voter ID here. Okay. You need to put your voter ID. When you click on your voter ID, right, your webcam will be enabled here. Your webcam automatically will enable and it will identify with your ID proof, with your Aadhaar or anything, that whether you're the right person or not. Then it will allow you to cast your vote to any candidate, to whomsoever you want to choose your candidate and the party, and then your vote will be casted and it is done. Next time, when you want to again come with the same voter ID, it will say that you have already casted your vote. First thing. Now, let me say, if you want to go ahead and try to use some other mobile phone, okay, then also you will be caught because your webcam will not allow you. Your webcam says that your ID which is been given to this voter ID is not matching with your camera, whatever picture which I'm getting. So you will not be allowed to cast your vote, and this has actually happened in Russia. And one more important thing I want to say, Tamil Nadu is actually trying to progress in this form of election. If you want, please go through. Recently only it happened. Tamil Nadu wants to go through this election through using blockchain technology. The reason why they want to go is, guys, see, in the election booth, there will be many riggings happening. First drawback. Second drawback is, when you give enough bribe to policemen and to the election commissioner who sits at that particular booth, done. Then the party member will go and he will just press all his party symbols in the secret ballot. Nobody is going to check. So, and then at the end of the day, when a particular party wins, the opposition party always says that there was some flaw in the secret ballot or EVM machine which is present. So automatically, when I was casting the vote, it is going to the other party. So these sort of problems we can remove entirely by implementing an app where you can cast your vote wherever you are comfortably. So your webcam and your voter ID, both the things should be enabled to you so that you can go and cast your vote without any hesitation. You don't need to explain anyone. You don't need to say anyone, and nobody is going to pressurize you. The reason is your webcam will be enabled. If your webcam is enabled, then you can go ahead and try to cast your vote so that nobody would be interfered. If anybody is interfered, then immediately your vote will be cancelled and you will not be eligible to cast your vote again. It is only a one-time process. So that is what is explained here, guys. Whatever points, whatever I've explained you right now, these are the points. Okay. Again, I'm not going to explain you each and everything here because that is the main logic. Whatever I said right now in the form of here application, right? This is the main logic here. So once the voter casts his vote, then there will be increment. Increment means what? Let me say there are X and Y candidates. Now, if you casted your vote to X, there will be an increment of 1 here. Now, let me say if another person comes, if he casts his vote to Y, there will be an increment of 1 here. Like that, it will be an increment of 1 so whoever is going to get the majority of the votes, they can be winner. And you don't need to have again a separate day where you employ people for counting process. For one entire day is not required. If the elections complete by evening 6 o'clock, your results can be out by 8 o'clock or maybe the next day morning only, without any involvement of any other persons, because automatically the logic is such, it will take an increment and it will show who is the winner. But not to you, but to the Election Commission of India. Then the Election Commission of India is going to declare the results, saying that so and so party has won with these many seats with the help of the particular application, with all the proofs and everything. That's how we can conduct the elections. And Tamil Nadu and Russia is progressively working on this elections using the blockchain technology, guys. Okay. And now coming to the agriculture, how we can implement the blockchain in agriculture sector. Okay, so you have farmers, you know that why farmers do commit suicides, guys. Farmers commit suicides because of one main persons here, that is intermediaries. Now these guys take the major profit and they give very less amount to farmers. And who are the benefiters here? It is the intermediaries. So now government wants to remove these intermediaries by implementing one technology which we call it as the blockchain. Now how we can do that? See, when the farmers are going to produce, that it may be the vegetables, it may be the fruits, or it may be dairy products, whatever it may be. Okay, so whenever they try to cultivate these types of things, right? So then they will have a small application in their local language. In their local language, because farmers, as you know, they will be preferring in their own local language. So they are going to fill the data saying that what all they have cultivated. Okay, now this all details will be kept inside a smart contract. And then the smart contract will be stored inside the blockchain. Then what happens is the government vehicle will come and it will take all the whatever vegetables, fruits and dairy products are present. It will take and it will give the MSP, that is minimum support price, to the farmers so that they will be happy, and these guys will not be here present. So that they can give a minimum support price to them. And what can happen actually is this smart contract will already be present inside the blockchain. Now this products, the government is going to submit it to wholesale, global market and distributors. So at the other end, the consumer is going to buy, like a customer like you and me who are going to buy the products, right? We can easily trace that from where it came, from which place it has come, whether it is fresh or not. The reason is the smart contract is present inside the blockchain and the rates are also fixed. Now these wholesale, global market and distributors, they can't change the rate as their own wish. The reason is the smart contract is present inside the blockchain. You know that once it is present inside the blockchain, nobody can change anything. So even the wholesaler or a global market or a distributor, if anybody tries to change the value also, they will be caught, because whenever you go and try to scan that barcode, right, it will give you the real value coming from the blockchain, which is present inside the smart contract. So this is how even farmers are going to get their minimum support price, and on top of that, the intermediaries who are present, they are totally removed. And then as the end user, when you are going to buy, you can buy it very genuinely with the help of a scanner and a barcode. You can just scan your barcode and then you can try to get all the details related to that particular product which you're purchasing, the rate, the expiry, the place where it got manufactured. All these things you can actually try to get it very easily, guys. So these are all the important points which we need to consider. Okay, this is how we can implement the blockchain in the agriculture sector, guys. Okay, so now budget. What is this transparent budgeting, guys? Transparent budgeting means, see, whenever there is a budget means what? You know that, right? Every financial year, budget will be declared by the central government along with the state governments. Also, state governments also have their own respective budget, and the central government also is having their own respective budget. Now, you may consider any government, it all depends on you. So what I want to say you is the process. Okay, if you could see here, the government official is going to come up with the budget. Now, who is the government official here? He is none other than the finance minister. Finance minister is going to come up with his budget. Now, this budget will not be in a suitcase, which they show us in the TV, but I would say that that budget will be present inside a smart contract. And then the smart contract will be stored inside the blockchain. Now, once this smart contract is stored inside the blockchain, right, then what happens is the government committee, that means it is your Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha, okay, the upper house and the lower house. Okay, so these guys or these MPs are going to cast their vote based on the budget. Now, if everybody accepts it, if it is approved, then it will be in motion. If it is rejected, then they will send the reason, and then again the finance minister is going to rectify it, and then the smart contract will be again kept in a different block. The reason why it should be kept in a smart contract and stored inside the blockchain is sometimes the ruling party, they say that they are going to give this much amount of funds for that particular financial year. But again, when the financial year starts, they never stand up to their expectations. So when it is present in the smart, then what happens in the next budget? Again, they will change it according to their own figures. They will change everything as per their own figure, and they will claim that, saying that we have never said in the previous budget. But this time what is going to happen? Everything is present inside the blockchain. Even they will be very careful whenever they are preparing some value rather than saying it in the air. So they will be very careful. whenever they say some values, because they know this time that they are going to be screwed if anything goes wrong, because everything is present inside the blockchain, either the ruling party or the opposition party or the citizens. Nobody can change anything once it is present inside the blockchain. So next year when they come with the finance next budget, right, they will be accountable. They will be accountable, saying that how it went well or where are the loopholes, so that it would be very clear. And this smart contract copies will be sent to different sectors like education, military, healthcare, agriculture, by saying that how much amount of money has been dedicated to them in this particular financial year, so that they will be coming to know that how much they have spent on education, military, healthcare, how much percentage they have given. Once the bill is approved in the parliament, that's the budget, then it will be reported to all the citizens. So to all the citizens, the budget will be reported because it has been approved. So next time everything would be transparent. No ruling party can actually try to change anything as per their own style, because everything is noted inside the blockchain. So opposition will be very careful to target them, so that everything is present here, and even the ruling party also can't escape from there. So this is a very clear way of trying to present a budget in any of the, it may be the parliament or it may be the state legislative house, wherever it may be, it will be very clear whenever we go ahead and try to deal with a transparent budgeting, guys. This is what we call transparent budgeting model inside the blockchain technology. Okay, so one last concept for today is the online identity. Okay, this is the last case study. So if you could see here, let me say your Aadhaar card, which is there. This is one of the important one. Indeed, if I say we have a PAN card, license and all also, that's not an issue. But Aadhaar is something which has become these days very important. Now, what you can do is, let me say sometimes, generally this happens to me, when I go to bank, right, I always forget my Aadhaar card, and then they ask me the Aadhaar card sometimes to make sure that when I go with some transactions, right, so for just some sort of a proof or something. But I always forget, and again I travel back to my home, and then I bring my Aadhaar card. But again, on the way, I just think that when the world is digitalized, why can't these banks have not yet digitalized? Why can't the system has not yet digitalized? People talk about technology, but see, I have forgotten something. I have gone to my bank, and again I need to travel back to 20 to 25 kilometers back to my house just to bring that particular Aadhaar card. Is it what we call digitalization? Is it what we call Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India? No, right? So everything should be digitalized. Now, what my point here is, whatever your Aadhaar card which is present, it should be kept in your smart contract, and that smart contract should be present inside the blockchain. And this is going to give you a small ID. And this ID should be in handy with you, rather than big Aadhaar cards and everything. So whenever you go to any bank, government or transport service, anything, whatever it may be, let me say in case if you forgot it, then you can just say the ID, and then the bank can do all the functioning for you, because bank knows that the smart contract, I want to say inside this smart contract, it is present. What? Your Aadhaar card is present. So they are going to verify and the process is completed. So you're understanding, right? This is how it should be taken into consideration. And Indian government is actually coming up with this model, not for your Aadhaar card, but for your NRC and for CAA. Okay, Citizenship Amendment Act, and then for your National Registry of Citizens, they want to make sure that one card, there will only be one card rather than multiple cards, and this card will have one common ID, and that ID would be stored inside the blockchain. So wherever you go next time to any of the places, it may be any state or maybe to any part of the, let me say in a city or maybe any part of a state, then you can just have this ID and provide them. So that they're going to do all the verification and everything for you in order to approve any process it may be, so that it will be easier. So government is going to make sure that everything would be kept inside the blockchain, and on top of that, everyone's data will be secure, rather than Google, Facebook, Amazon, Flipkart. They are using your data now. Okay, so if we start implementing the blockchain, if any new entity will come into the market, right, they will not have access to any of your data until and unless you share it to them. So this is what the government of India is actually trying to plan, in order to make sure that no one's identity should be revealed to anybody until and unless the person is going to reveal, or the person is interested to reveal. Otherwise, it should not be. So that's what is government is actually trying to progress towards the online identity, guys. Okay, so these are all of the various types of case studies which I have explained it to all of you. So again, in the market there are many case studies still, but I have completed the most important ones, the very important ones which are actually being implemented by some governments, and some governments are still working on this. Those are the models which I have explained you, so that you can create some ideas on your own, and then you can go ahead. Now, if you see this transparent budgeting, no research papers have been published on this. If you see here online identity, yes, there are many research papers present. You can come up with a different way here. Okay, yesterday there was one question to me related to research papers, right? So what you can do, you can just think, you can take a use case, okay, and then how blockchain can be implemented to this use case. First thing, this is the first question you need to understand. Use case may be any sector. It may be the IT sector, it may be your agriculture sector, okay, it may be let me say your healthcare sector, okay, it may be your energy sector, any sector you target. Okay, this is your use case. After taking your use case, see how blockchain will fit. And did anybody work on that previously? Because your idea may be worked by someone else. We never know it. Check that is anybody like anybody who has worked on this or not. So if nobody has worked, go ahead. Then what you do is only using blockchain, it's fine. That means you'll have a good potentiality. But let me say, if you want to create a patent on your name, or you want to go and publish in a very like high respectable journal, if I would say, then in that case, only implementing blockchain will not give you a better result. So then you have to show them that how I can integrate blockchain plus cloud, or maybe any IoT concept I can introduce, okay, or any other technology. That means what is happening here is you are bringing two latest technologies with one case study. See the weightage here. Okay, it all depends on you. If you want to start from the basics, then go with a case study, select the blockchain and complete it off. Then in the next paper, target in such a way, blockchain, your use case, and then with some other latest technology. It may be AI, cloud, IoT, big data, whatever you want it. And whenever you require any help, you can always contact me, which I'm going to share right now, my mail ID, or otherwise you can get it from your Vallakshmi ma'am also. So that's not at all an issue. But yes, if you want some idea, I can give you, so that you can go ahead and try to do. But again, it is your responsibility to find it out that still whether those ideas have been already discussed in any of the research paper or not, because I don't want to waste your time, the one which is already been done. So first have a proper analysis, see whether it is been implemented or not. If it is not, then try to do it. Okay, this is research paper level. Second level is the people who are eager to enter into an organization and then want to implement this blockchain technology, then have a very good understanding first the foundation level of the technology. If you know the foundations, then immediately you can implement it in the blockchain very easily. That is not at all an issue. And one more important point which I want to address to everyone is, don't try to fit everywhere blockchain. Yes, you should not show that you know blockchain, that I can fit everywhere wherever you ask me. No, whenever the data is dynamic, try to get rid of blockchain, because ultimately the cost will be higher. So do you really think that, yeah, if your company is having budget, let me say if your company is having enough budget and they want to go, then there's no problem. That's not at all an issue. But if your company is a mid-level company and if their cost is very low, then you have to think of another alternative. But let me say if it is a static sort of a data, then blockchain will be the best fit for this. Dynamic also it's a good fit only. Okay, when in the dynamic also it's a very good fit. But dynamic means, let me say, within 2 seconds if the data is changing, every 2 seconds if the data is changing, and if the blocks are getting added here, okay, then the cost will be very high, because scalability will increase. As the scalability increases, your cost will increase. So you also need to think of it. And this can also be one of the research idea, how to reduce the scalability. You can also think about it. People have not explored this domain yet. How to reduce the scalability of the blockchain, how to reduce the cost of it if anyone uses in terms of application. These are all the open areas which are present in the market. You can explore as much as you can, guys. Okay, so I hope I have covered all important points in my 3 sessions which were dedicated to me. So I hope that I have covered the maximum content to you all, and I hope that all of you have got at least something so that you can understand what is this technology, what are its applications, cryptocurrency, the important basics of the blockchain. I have covered all important points to you all guys, so that you will never ever try to forget these concepts, because I made you do it in such a way that from basics we started, and then I have taken into it like what exactly it is all about. Okay, so I am going to say, like, I expect all the participants to please go through this technology. It is a very nascent technology, guys. It is still revolutionizing. It is still at the early stages. If you want to do any wonders, it's the right time. Okay, so things are being changing. See, when I was doing in the year 2015, right, 2015, I entered into this domain. Okay, so at that time, not even a single person knows about it. Today, in 2019, from 2017 or 2018, I have seen a rapid growth in the technology. Governments started doing it, organizations started doing it. So if you still waste the time of 1 or 2 years, it will come into the market totally, and then it will be like your next data science and your AI. There will be tons of people who knows everything. You're understanding, right? So be a change agent right now. Do as much as you can, write as many research papers as you want related to this domain. It is a very new domain, and you will have a very good opportunities going forward, guys, because it is having a lots of potentiality. If you don't want to believe me, no issues, go and surf in the internet, which is common to you and to me. So you will find an enormous amount of opportunities present here, especially to the management people I'm talking about, because this is something which will really be applicable to you, because your organizations want the data to be safe and secure. That's where you can say that how this technology can play a very vital role. Okay, so this is very, very important points, guys. So I request every one of you to please make sure that you learn to the maximum extent. All these presentations and everything will be shared to the Varalakshmi ma'am, or maybe to the AICT, like FDP, whatever the mail ID I have. I'll be sharing it to them, so that you will be getting a copy of the presentations, whatever I have shared. And any doubts if you have, I'm going to put my mail ID right now at the end, and then you can use that mail ID, and you can always approach me whenever you have any such queries or any doubts if you require. Okay, so I wish every one of you all the best, guys, and have a bright future going further. And make sure that you explore not only blockchain technology, all the technologies you explore to the maximum extent. Have a great idea on all these things, and then choose which one would be the best fit for you, and then you can go ahead and try to implement it. If there are any doubts, you can ask me. I will just take all those doubts and I can help you. If you don't have any such doubts, then definitely I can just wrap it up. Okay, and before I wrap it up, so I just want to thank again the organizer. So it is Varalakshmi ma'am. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity and trying to bring me back again to JNTU Anantapur, and trying to interact with the people. Thank you so much for your effort, and thanking you for organizing it appropriately by sending me the links at each and every point. Thank you so much for making me easier to join the sessions, ma'am.
So thank you, sir. Thank you very much on behalf of JNTUA School of Management Studies for accepting our invitation and coming, taking the classes on blockchain technology, future of cryptocurrency and applications of blockchain. So really, it was wonderful sessions by you here. I never saw such person who can really explain the new concepts of blockchain technology. So whatever the use cases and application part that you explained are really explained. So thank you very much from our committee.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. And participants, if you have any doubts related to the three sessions, you can ask there now.
Anybody who has any doubts? If you have any, I will definitely help you out, guys. Okay, I'll just put my mail ID here.
You can post your queries in Google Meet chat box also.
Yeah, I just kept it. Yeah. So is people, I meant to say, like, do everybody understood it, or like people are hesitant to ask doubt? What is, which mechanism, like Vishwanath, which mechanism you want to monitor? Any
Sir, good morning.
Vishwanath, okay, yeah, good morning.
Yeah. Sir,
Yes, please.
that means how much percentage we can believe this system, sir? Blockchain technology, data is securing and transparency.
Okay, so
whatever the cases we observed here, is there any possibility that we can check the monitoring system or something else like that?
Yeah, there is. I'm just putting in the chat box. Okay, there is something called as a block watch. Okay, I just kept it in the chat box. So block watch is a metric analysis which actually tries to perform that how your blockchain is actually performing, sir. When you apply it on the application, right? From block watch, you can analyze how much resilient enough it is working. Okay.
Okay.
That's a block watch.
Nice, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else who's having any doubts, guys? Cool. That's great then. I hope people have understood all the things. Good. Varalakshmi ma'am, I think people don't have much doubts. So I think it's the right time to wrap up the session.
So, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much on behalf of JNTUA School of Management Studies, sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And we are looking for the support for other technical programs also.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks to all the participants too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, I'm leaving the call, okay?
Yeah, yes, sir. No problem.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, have a great future ahead, ma'am. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Participants, please stay for 2 minutes.